All right. Hey guys, we're going to talk about the coordinate plane. And some of you may already know about this, but I just wanted to make sure I had something on record here talking about it. So this is called a coordinate plane, and there's a reason why we call it a coordinate plane. But let me do the basic stuff. When you go left to right, like this, we call this thing the x-axis. All right. The left and right line is called the x-axis. When you go up and down, that thing is called the y-axis. All right, because of that, sometimes the coordinate plane you hear it referred to as the XY plane. There's a guy named Rene Descartes who kind of did a lot of work on this, and so they named this thing also the Cartesian plane. All right, I'm just mentioning all those names because you might see them in passing, but they all really mean the same thing. The coordinate plane, the XY plane, the Cartesian plane. I talked about why it's an XY plane because of the axes, the Cartesian plane because of the guy. The coordinate plane is called that because when you are able to plot points on this thing, those points are called coordinates. All right. So for example, if I took a point, let me change it to blue, and I put it right here. Notice that it kind of lines up with this, and it kind of lines up with this. So on the x-axis, that's a 3. On the y-axis, that's a 2. That is an actual location. If you started here, for example, and you ask somebody to give you directions, if you started from right here, and you're like, hey, I want to get over there. They may say something like, oh, just go kind of over to the right and up some. Well, that's nice in general, but what if they were able to tell you exactly go 3 blocks to the right and then 2 blocks up, you'll get to your location. So this point right here is called a coordinate. The mathy name for it is coordinate. It is given by x and then y. So this is the order of the coordinate. I just want to put on here that it's really just a location. There is a location of something, and you can give me the exact coordinates of that location if I follow this process of choosing the 3 first, because that is the x-axis, and then the y, which in this case is 2. So the coordinates for that point are 3, 2. All right, that's why we call it the coordinate plane. All right, if I wanted to ask you for the coordinates of, say, this point right here, I know that I'm going to have an x value and a y value. On the x-axis, if I start at 0, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this direction, which means -5. And then up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's at the 4 location. Now, these are probably already going to be labeled for you. If not, just go ahead and label them. But this location right here, this coordinate, this set of coordinates, -5, 4. All right, that's how we can name a coordinate, name a point. I could ask you to name it. I could ask you to plot it. So for example, I could ask you to plot, I don't know, 2, -3. So I would go on the x-axis and go over to 2. There's a 2. And go down 3 because negative on the y-axis is down. If this is 1, 2, this is -1, -2, on and on and on. So this is 2, -3 right here. Right now I can put a point there. Sometimes though they'll say plot this point, and then they'll give it a name. So they may call it point A. Right? Usually you'll see this point is point A. So they'll write the A in front of it. So on here, if I have the point, I can just put an A next to it, and I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that location right there, that point right there. All right. So that's in general what the Cartesian plane is. There's a special application of it with some special names. And right now I'm just going to look at these 2 axes. If I put a point right here, it's actually on the x-axis. Or if I put a point right here, it's actually on the y-axis. Those are called the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. Just notation that I want you to know about. Those are points on the axis. So on the y-axis, and then this one is on the x-axis. All right, nice summary.